Hello, replay viewers. Welcome to day 9. Oh, no, that's day 10. I totally messed that up. I'm going to change it really fast because Catch is probably going to capture this image really soon. Welcome, Danielle and Helen and Amy. So I totally wrote the wrong day. It's day 10. I'm a day ahead. Yay. Hi, Patrice. I flipped the camera around too quickly on Friday because it showed me instead of my date and day. Hi, Scrap Quilt Queen. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer today before I flip around so that Catch captures this. Welcome to everyone coming in live. Okay, I think that I'm probably safe now. Welcome. Hello, Brooke. Thanks for telling me your name. Oh, Brooke! It's Brooke. I didn't even know what your Periscope handle is, so now I will know. Yay. Okay, I am Melissa from MakerySpace.com, where I equip and educate. Oh, that's nice, Patrice. I do that too. I sew and listen too, and I hate that I can't interact, but it works out well sometimes. I educate and equip Etsy sellers with the more left-brained aspect of running a creative business. Thanks, Danielle. And so I am going to talk today about something that was requested. I had a couple questions asked through that form on my website, which I would love it if you went there, makeryspace.com/scope, if you have anything that you would like to see me cover in these scopes. So Wendy asked, I haven't seen her pop on here, so hopefully she will. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Kimberly. Wendy asked a couple of questions about wholesale. She asked about selling via Etsy Wholesale to retailers, and she also asked about obtaining supplies for making her products at wholesale. So I want to cover both of those things today. Now, as far as the Etsy Wholesale part, I'm just passing along what I understand from it. I have not participated in Etsy Wholesale, but I'm just going to address her questions that she asked that might help some of you. And if any of you do sell via Etsy Wholesale, you can chime in if you have anything to add or if there's something that I get wrong, okay? So the first thing she asked is, could you have to offer all of your products, or can you just offer one product or kind of pick and choose? Etsy wants you to have a line sheet, which is very typical with wholesale. So that the retailers have a variety of things to choose from. So you can't just have one product that you make available to wholesalers. And even in that line sheet, you may not have like 50 different products, but even if you have a small handful of products, you should have multiple different colors or options. A line sheet is kind of like, it's almost like your catalog that you present to retailers, where it shows your product, it tells your wholesale price, it tells your manufacturer's suggested retail price, and it gives them all the details so that they know. It's kind of like if you were to order something by a mail order catalog or something. It would give you all the details, and you could mark the box and the quantity for ordering, and you would see the price. So that answers that question. And then the $100 fee that Etsy charges, basically the advantage of that is they are connecting you with these retailers. They have over 11,000 retailers at this point, and they are vetted, so they don't allow just any retailer to come in and purchase wholesale from the Etsy designers. And they also have like a commitment thing that they have to sign, so that there's some level of accountability on the side of the retailers and some protection for you as well. So that $100 basically covers all the services Etsy performs on your behalf as far as vetting the retailers and making sure that they are going to honor contracts and that kind of thing. And then Wendy's third question, and other thing I want to talk about with Etsy Wholesale in particular is that not everyone is accepted. It is a juried system, so you can apply. Anyone can apply if they're an Etsy seller, but they look at a number of things in your Etsy account itself, and they also look at your items, and you have to answer a bunch of questions on that application. So they don't necessarily take everyone. So then Wendy also asked, can I deal on a wholesale level with anyone, or does it have to be only through Etsy Wholesale? You are not limited to Etsy Wholesale. That is a newer thing. You were declined. Yeah, I don't know what all their criteria is, but Etsy Wholesale is a newer thing, and Etsy sellers have been dealing in wholesale accounts from way before Etsy ever had a wholesale division. So if if it's your shop, if someone approaches you wanting to sell at wholesale, then you have every right to set up that kind of relationship with that person, whether it's a brick and mortar store in your town, whether it's a boutique that's online, whatever it is, someone wants to carry your products, you have every right to work that out. The standard is, though, pretty much across wholesale in general, that you have to offer at least 50% off of your suggested manufacturer's suggested retail price, the MSRP. And like with Etsy, they require that your price in your shop cannot be less than twice what your wholesale is. So let's say you make a product that you sell for $25 in your shop, and you feel like $12.50 would be a little too low for you to go wholesale. You can't, you would have to raise your prices or go with that $12.50 to go through Etsy Wholesale, because you cannot say on your line sheet that your manufacturer's suggested retail price is $30 and you're selling it wholesale at $15, and then you have it, hi Angela, in your shop for $25. That is against the policy. It's also against a lot. I know Amy does, like Zulily and some others, and she has to have a certain price point in her retail shop in order that Zulily can look at and see, okay, yes, this matches the discount that we require to make this a deal on our site. So there are some requirements in there when you work with wholesalers where you can't just state any kind of wholesale price. It has to match up with what you're actually selling it for. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I have linked right after the scope. I will update the scope post, but I have links to more information on Etsy Wholesale, as well as a questionnaire they have where you can look at it and go, it's kind of a way of you monitoring, am I ready for Etsy Wholesale? They ask you a series of questions. And then there's another really good article I found at aolidia.com that just talks about working with wholesaling and working with wholesalers in general and pricing and all that kind of thing. So then the other part of it, which will probably apply to more of you who are watching, is how to obtain supplies for making your products at wholesale. Yeah, she is a great resource, Danielle. I agree. You know, it gets to be, when you're first starting out, typically you are having to purchase things at retail, and you're probably looking for sales and using coupons and that kind of thing to get your materials. But it reaches a point where you realize that your profit could be way better if you could buy things in bulk and if you could buy with a wholesale type of account. Patrice said is aolidia.com, and you'll find the name of that at makeryspace.com/scope, and it's AEOLIDIA.com if someone wants to type that in there. So with wholesale accounts, it can be a little bit tricky for those of us who sell online and who are not selling like supplies at retail. There are some accounts such as Notions Marketing, which is a huge distributor of supplies, that require you to either have a brick and mortar, or they look at your shop and they have to see, okay, like let's say you're purchasing thread. You have to actually be selling sewing supplies in order to purchase from them. You can't be purchasing thread at wholesale to use in your products, which you then turn around and sell as a manufacturer. So Notions Marketing is pretty much out for anyone who's not selling the supplies they purchase as is as a supply. But there are some other places that do allow for smaller scale and even online retailers to purchase at wholesale, but they usually have a minimum order, and typically the first order's minimum is higher, and then subsequent orders can be a little bit lower. Some places also have a minimum that you have to spend within a year, and that's not always the case, but there are some that are that way. So Wendy had asked about fabric for one. Fabric is one of those that in most cases you have to have an account directly with the brand or the manufacturer, and you have to purchase on bolts if you want to get wholesale. So the best deal that I found when I was looking around was Riley Blake, and I actually have not done it at wholesale because I offer such a wide variety of fabrics. I don't want 15 yards of something at a time, but in some cases it's really advantageous to people to do it that way. So, but like, let me give you an example with Riley Blake. It's 15 yards on a bolt that's for my laminated cotton. I'm trying to think. if quilting cotton is a little bit less. Somebody chime in if you know. I don't remember. But you do have to buy the entire bolt. Your first order has to be a minimum of $250 is way to what is easy to work with, Angela? Oh, is it? Oh, good. I'm going to write that down because I have not looked into Alexander Henry. So Riley Blake, once you purchase that minimum $250 first order, then the minimum is $150 for subsequent orders. But they do require $1,000 a year minimum in purchasing fabric. And I think that's actually any of their supplies. So if you got buttons from them or ribbon or whatever else that they sell, that would be included in there. You can count on saving. Oh, that's good to know. Moda and United Nations. Okay. And United Nations. United Nations probably doesn't sell craft supplies. Okay, I'm going to write that one down as well. I will add that to the list. With Riley Blake, you can expect to save about 40 to 50% off of retail, depending on the type of fabric that you are doing. Yes, Wendy. Oh, you're maple sugaring. Oh, that sounds so cool. Cloud9, I don't know about that. I'm going to look into that, Angela. Yes, this will be on MakerySpace.com/scope, Wendy. All of these links to these places that I'm talking about, okay? So, for example, on Riley Blake, their quilting cotton is about $5.45 per yard, and then you have to buy. I do believe it's 15. I think it's actually 15 for quilting cotton and 10 for the laminated, the bolt sizes. So $5.45 a yard. So you figure you're saving pretty close to 50% there, depending on the retailer, what they usually sell for by the yard. Okay, so it could be worth it for you if you go through a lot of fabric and you don't need a huge amount of. Okay, thanks for that, Brooke. Huge amount of variety of fabrics, okay? Now, as far as non-fabric things, other things which will apply to a lot of us. So we're talking supplies for paper crafting or other sewing supplies like maybe thread and needles, those kinds of supplies that you would use to put into your products. Zippers, you know, I am, what is it? Is Jessica, are you on here? Is it Zipper Stop? I think Zipper Stop is the place. I have been getting mine from Zip It Zippers on Etsy, which I absolutely love. Jenny has the most amazing customer service. Because of the quantity I buy, I'm looking into Zipper Stop because the price per zipper is a little bit better. That's a really good question, Danielle. I don't know of other places for custom fabric, so someone will need to look into that. Brooke, are you agreeing on the zippers? Have you started getting yours from Zipper Stop as well? Or are you saying that Jenny's customer service is fantastic? I seriously, if you don't need huge quantities right now, I mean, Jenny ships like the next day, and she is so helpful and so communicative. She is fabulous. So Zip It Zippers on Etsy is a great place to get your zippers. Okay, so some other places that you can sign up for a wholesale account, I have listed at MakerySpace.com/scope as well. There are quite a few that I found that you don't have a requirement to have a storefront, that's a brick and mortar, and where it seemed like a lot of them, the minimum beginning order was about $250. So you just kind of have to first go, okay, and then make sure you have that margin to purchase that much at once, and just think of, okay, what am I going to need? Yeah, that is another place I get my zippers, because a lot of times Wawak, or however you pronounce it, will have buy two get one free. So I buy 14-inch zippers, and they end up being, I want to say, about 24 cents each, which is really comparable to Zipper Stop. The problem is their color selection is really limited, so you're not going to get as many options there. But if you just need some basic colors, watch out for that two zippers buy two zippers get one free deal that they run pretty often. You can get on their mailing list too, and you can find out about it. So these other sites that I've listed, the one that I have used the most is Peterson Arn. That is on the list. They are based in Oregon, and the first order I believe was $250, but then the minimum after that is only $100, and that will make you not have to pay any kind of a shipping surcharge. So as long as your order each time is $100, then you're just paying for product and you're not paying for shipping. So that is, I think that is incredibly reasonable. And they have everything from thread. I think think they might even have interfacing, but I'm not positive. But they have everything from sewing supplies to paper crafting. They have a lot of different supplies. So that would be a good spot to check. It's a very primitive kind of website. You can't just order on there and complete your order. You have to place your order and then they send you an invoice to pay via PayPal. So it's not a super updated website, but they do have a lot of things and they're really great to work with. So that is the one I can speak to from personal experience. And a couple of these I discovered that I didn't even know about, so I'm going to be checking into them for myself as well. So you'll find that list there. But something really, really important that you need to remember, if you want to set up a wholesale account, you have got to make sure that you are registered with your state and that you have a reseller's permit, also known as a tax ID, also known as a resale license, because they are going to require that. They're going to require a copy of that. They have to get your number for that because that is the only way they can sell to you at wholesale, and that is how you avoid paying sales tax on your purchase. Because when you're purchasing something as a cost of goods sold that goes into your product that you're then making and then you're charging sales tax to people in your state, you should not be paying tax on it and then be charging tax on it after that. So make sure that you have gone through that process and you have a sales tax ID number that you can provide to these places. Another thing you can do, I haven't asked for a sample, Helen, just because the kinds of things I've ordered haven't really been necessary. Now with my zippers, what I did do in the very beginning ordering from Zip It is I actually ordered one of each color because Jenny sends this great card. Let me show you. Oh, sure, I can't find it. Okay, here's a blank one. I actually have all the samples on here, but Jenny sends this color chart of the zippers that she offers, and what I did is I cut off the end of each zipper and I glued it to each color because, printed and monitor colors can be so different than reality, and I wanted to have a reference for what each zipper color actually looks like. Here's an example of my wall walk ones that actually has the end of the zipper on it on the ones that I've ordered. So that's a great reference to have. So that's the only time I've really kind of done samples, but there are places that do let you get a sample or maybe for just a minimal cost like fabric.com. One thing with fabric.com or some other sites, if you provide them with your tax ID / reseller's permit number, they will not charge you sales tax when you place an order. So you may not be getting wholesale prices, but fabric.com does have some good sales sometimes, and you can get good deals on your fabrics, and at least you are not having to deal with the sales tax portion if they have that on file for you. It won't even be added on when you check out. They have that system pretty streamlined now. Okay, and there are some other places that will do that for you as well. You just need to ask them if there's no information on their site. So those are the main things I wanted to say about wholesaling, selling at wholesale, and purchasing your supplies at wholesale. Once again, at makeryspace.com/scope, I will make that post live as soon as I'm off. I'll answer that question in a second, Brooke, so that you can have those links and you can check them out for yourself. And then just send me an email at melissa@makeryspace.com if any questions come up. Brooke, the shipping part with fabric.com can be slow, but I just have to remind myself it's free because I'm always ordering over $35. So, once you order, it takes a couple days for your order to process. And then to get to me, because it's coming from Atlanta, I think it always takes a week on the calendar. So I just have to remember if I don't need it right away, then I need to remember that I'm not going to get it in time, or if I don't need it right away, it works out well. If I need it soon, it's not going to work so well with fabric.com. I need to have no expectations of getting it quickly, basically. Yeah, you see, Wendy, they don't cut the straightest. I will agree. It depends on who you're getting. Sometimes I'm surprised by how straight it is. But here's the thing I love about fabric.com. They always give several inches extra. Some places, will cut like exactly what you order. If you order a yard, then there's like a line drawn at 36 inches and it is cut straight down that. Or they might give you like a ½ inch extra. Fabric.com typically gives me, I would say, 3 to 7 inches extra each time. So I'm never worried about being shorted. So even if it's jagged, I'm still getting a little bit extra fabric. Sometimes it's even more than that. I mean, sometimes I might order a yard and I get like a 1.25 yards or something. So that's a trade-off to me with fabric.com because I always get plenty of extra. And then the shipping, they do seem to package it well. I've had a couple issues with my laminated cotton where the person was not careful and I had lots of creases, and I ended up having to return and get a few replacements because the creases were so deep that even an ironing wouldn't have taken them out. That's one tricky thing with laminated cotton. But they do send it on the rolls, on the tubes, which is hugely helpful to me, as long as they package it well, because I don't have to worry about ironing. Okay, any other questions right now? I'm going to have to zip off over to my blab. Now, today's blab was supposed to be with Nicole with Craftcation, and she has food poisoning and had to cancel at the last minute. So if any of you are free to jump over to the blab, the Making It on Etsy blab today, we're kind of winging it. And so I would love it if anyone had questions that they wanted to come ask in the chat. You don't have to pop in live while I scope on GoDaddy. Like more specifically than I did the other day, Jessica, once you send me an email with some specific questions that you have, and I will see about doing that. Hi, Denise. So if you go to blab.im/MakerySpace, then if you follow me there, you can see when we go live. But if anyone wants to pop into a seat, that would be awesome if you're brave enough. But even if you're not, if you want to put, oh great, Helen, you'll be there. If you want to put a question in the chat, you know, Dan and I are having to kind of do this last minute. Okay, we're just going to do kind of a Q&A thing since our guest could not make it. All right, I'm going to run over to join him there. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow around 10:30 Pacific. Bye-bye.